On the Gamebridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to This Week in Ball State Sports, a Ball State athletics podcast, highlighting the Cardinals athletic teams and administration each week. Presented by Gamebridge. Here's the voice of the Cardinals, your host, Mick Tidrow.
All right, Ball State fans, wrapping up the month of April here on This Week in Ball State Sports, episode 34, and we have a really fun show for you this week. A lot of golf conversation because Ball State men's golf just took home the MAC championship. We'll talk with head coach Mike Fleck. Kahn on the team as well joins us here on the podcast. But first up, we start off with Director of Athletics, Jeff Mitchell. Jeff, appreciate you each and every week joining us, and we are almost to May, which means the semester is almost over.
Well, thank you, Mick. Always a pleasure to join you. Yes, the semester is almost over. Commencement is this weekend. So we will celebrate the class of 2024 and excited about seeing all those graduates walk across the stage and all the pomp and circumstance that goes on graduation weekend. This will be a busy week for the university as they prepare for commencement.
It's always really interesting to see which sports are still in action while commencement takes place too, and the athletes that may be on the road as well, which we'll have a couple of teams on the road for commencement. But Jeff, just want to start off with this men's golf championship because what an epic weekend it was for Ball State men's golf to capture that title with Coach Fleck and company.
Well, it was a wire-to-wire tournament win for the Ball State men's golf team. Had a really close round on Friday and ended in a tie with Miami, and then on Saturday the Cardinals pulled away, were 3 strokes up, and then Sunday there was a lot of ups and downs, I think, for a lot of teams in contention, including for Ball State, but the Cardinals prevailed. The guys have been locked in all season long for this opportunity, and it was something that Coach Fleck and I talked about at the beginning of the season. He thought that the team was collectively situated to do it in terms of the depth of talent on the team. And it was just, could they produce results that were steady to prepare them for the opportunity to compete for and win a championship. And I think they were steady throughout the course of the season, and they were steady over the course of the weekend, and that led to a conference championship. So it's the first time since '86 that a Ball State team, a men's golf team, has won a MAC championship. But I can't be more excited for Coach Fleck and our team. They were ecstatic yesterday at the conclusion of that championship round, and I was really excited to be there to watch them win it and see the joy on their faces, and to give Coach Fleck and some of the guys a hug and just tell them how proud I was of them and their accomplishments, because they worked really hard to earn that.
The attendance was awesome, too, to see the Ball State faithful waiting on the 18th for the conclusion of that final round. That was epic to see.
Yeah, it was really special, and it was amazing to see some of these clips and some of these images that are recapping and chronicling the tournament, and to see on that 18th hole when we won yesterday, to see the sea of people that were out there. Was pretty neat, and so I know our guys appreciated it. Coach Fleck appreciated it. It was fun for me to witness, and we're excited to see where these guys will get slotted in a regional. We'll find out on May 1st, and there are 8 different regionals around the country, I think, and we'll go to one of them, and so we'll find out where we go.
Yeah, selection show is always a fun time because nobody ever gets tired of seeing Ball State pop up on the screen, whether it's men's golf, whether it's gymnastics like we've seen the last couple of years. But just from that experience and to see these student athletes and these coaches go through that, how special is it for a program like Ball State men's golf to now go through that?
Well, I think we've been so close in the last few years, and to finally get there, I think it speaks volumes of what we're accomplishing, what Coach Fleck has in mind for the program, and it's a building block. So we've got this team coming back next year, and we have an opportunity to continue to grow and develop the program as a whole. If you get to see your name as one of the teams that qualify for the NCAA tournament, you get a lot of mileage out of that. Overall, this has been our third championship for this academic year. We won 6 a year ago, and so it's momentum building within the department as well. Anytime a team can win a MAC championship or a conference championship of any kind, regular season or a tournament championship. So I'm really excited for men's golf, excited about our other programs that are still competing right now, and just overall thrilled with the trajectory of our department, and excited for what's to come.
We'll get to those other sports in a minute. I just wanted to ask you one more question about golf. You've known Coach Fleck now for a year. What have you seen him mean to the program and to this university?
Well, he's been here for 26 seasons, and he's an alum, loves the place, has devoted his career to developing young men, and he's done a phenomenal job of it. You get to see even the non-golf, the non-athletic elements of what he means to the program on one Ball State day. And, the program raised over $40,000, which is amazing. And if it were not for Coach Fleck and the connections that he has, the relationships that he's built over the years, you don't get those type of results. So I'm very thankful and grateful for Coach Fleck and his leadership of his team. I enjoy the interactions that he and I have, and I admire him for his vision for his program, and I think he understands the Ball State way. So he lives it every day, and he instills that in his team, and they are a classy bunch. They are talented, and they're winners.
We'll have a fun conversation coming up with Coach Fleck here after we finish up with Jeff. But you mentioned championship season. Track and field is now about to swing back into championship season on the outdoor side. Really exciting time for them coming up.
Yeah, it is. And again, I think it's a team that's poised to compete for a conference championship. They had a great showing this past weekend. So we'll see. The championship's coming up May 9th through 11th in DeKalb. Northern Illinois is hosting. So look forward to seeing our young ladies compete. They're a talented group. Of course, are defending MAC champions. Not to put any pressure on them, but they'll go up there ready to compete. I know they will. Coach Wheatley will have them ready, and we'll see what happens. And certainly there's some individuals to watch as well. Janelle Rogers being one of them, and excited for her and what she can accomplish at the championships. And we'll see what happens.
Baseball, softball season also in full swing. Coming to the end of the regular season, though, on both ends there. Softball, just 2 series left. One of those today as this podcast drops on the road in Northern Illinois. Both of those series on the road, Jeff, but they're competing for a top 6 spot and a chance to make it to the MAC tournament.
Yeah, it's a great position to be in, that you're playing meaningful softball at the end of the season. And I think our young ladies are ready to compete. At 5 games left, and I know just based on the character of that team that they will compete to their best of their ability. So I'm excited to watch those games, and hopefully we'll be in a situation where we can make that playoff and go to the MAC championship. So excited for that. And then on the baseball front, they've got 3 series left, and are solidly in the field right now. Certainly want to improve their stock a little bit, but looking forward to seeing our guys compete on the baseball side as well. And they are coming off a tough series on the road at North Carolina State, but I think that series fell at a great time for our guys to go and participate in an environment that was challenging, to see some really quality pitching, and to challenge themselves, so that as we come back and finish conference play, that we're in the situation to make a final push and feel good about what we're doing. I talked to Coach Maloney over the weekend, and he said there were a lot of positives coming out of the weekend, despite the challenges that they faced on the road at North Carolina State, but that he's really excited about the final push, and those guys have been playing well. I think they know what it takes to be successful in the league. They've certainly had to challenge themselves after a slow start to conference play and to put themselves in a situation to contend for a conference championship. So I look forward to watching baseball finish the season on a high note.
You mentioned 3 series left in MAC play, Northern Illinois, Central Michigan, and wrap up that regular season conference portion against Kent State on the road. 5 home games left. Butler and Indiana State are midweek games out of conference, and then 3 against Central Michigan at home as well. All 5 of those televised games for Ball State baseball. All 5 in a row as well in May to continue that season. Jeff, on the basketball front, the transfer portal is open, of course. Men's and women's basketball have had players leave, had players come in. Overall, tons of movement, but a really positive direction for both of those programs right now.
Yeah, I'm proud of our coaches. I'm proud of our staffs, proud of our programs. They've persevered through what's really a confusing and arduous time of this transfer portal, these 45 days post-basketball season that ends this week as this podcast drops. So our coaches are looking forward to that portal closing, but at the same time, they should be very proud of where they are with the student-athletes that have committed to come to play both men's and women's basketball for us. But it's not without its struggle, and I commend Coach Lewis and his staff and Coach Salih and his staff who have persevered through this really disruptive time in college athletics. And their charge is to produce a roster that can be competitive within our league and that they are going to enjoy coaching. And I think if you ask both of them right now, again, these new students aren't here yet, but they will be soon based on what they know about these incoming student athletes and our returning student athletes. I think they both are going to enjoy coaching their respective teams, and that's really important, not only to them but to me as well, especially seeing some of the struggle that they've gone through over the past month plus after the season. So excited for them that they're in this position right now. I credit them. They've worked really hard. Their staffs have done the same thing to assemble these teams, and I think as a staff, as a department, and I extend that invitation to fans as well, to get really excited about what these teams can be and how we can support them to cheer them on in Worthen as we look ahead to next season.
Right, Jeff, before we let you go here on episode 34, anything else you want for Ball State fans?
Well, let's take advantage of the warmer weather and come out and watch baseball here with the 5 home games that we have left. They're all in a row. 2 non-conference games, as you mentioned, against Butler and Indiana State. And then the home MAC series against Central Michigan, always a special series there when we can host a rival in Central Michigan. So looking forward to that.
Jeff, we appreciate you all the time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Mick. Go Cards.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
We're sitting down with 2-time MAC Coach of the Year and now coined MAC Championship head men's golf coach Mike Fleck. Coach, congratulations on everything that was accomplished this weekend for you and your team. Everybody's thrilled for you guys.
Yeah, it's exciting, Mick. I mean, obviously we've been doing this for a long time, and to break through and get this championship is beyond special for this program and for the athletic department, and so many of the people that have supported us over this time frame.
We're not even 24 hours removed at the time of this recording of this podcast from you guys seeing that last ball go through the hole and being announced as Mid-American Conference Championships. What is running through your head as you sit down right now and try to digest what just happened this weekend?
A little bit of everything. I mean, we're sitting here in the office. I came in early this morning, and
which I couldn't believe, by the way, that you were in here at 7:30.
Well, I'm a morning person. I mean, if you live in the golf world, you get up before the sun, and so yeah, I dropped off. I took the hardware home last night and dropped it off and made sure it was secure over in the golf building. And ironically, I saw Carter in there practicing this morning, and it just speaks volume of the culture and the the work ethic of our guys. But yeah, there's a lot to do. We got to get ready for what's next, and I feel like my head's spinning a little bit, but we're looking forward to it.
Coach, you've been the head coach of this program for a while, 26 years, and this is something that you've always wanted for this program. When you sit back and think about everything that you've been able to get to this point for, in those moments during those 3 rounds, how proud were you of the guys just being able to stick to it and go after it?
Yeah, damn proud. I mean, it's we've had our fair share of opportunities over the years, and it's like I was talking to Jeff last night. You also have to have a little bit of luck, right? Like luck has to play into this, but we've been in the position many times over the years, and again, just proud of the fight and the grit and the perseverance and the patience that these guys showed this week to get the job done and finish on top.
When you were going into the weekend in the first round, what made you confident in this group?
We were prepared, and we've got dogs. These guys, we ran the gauntlet. I mean, honestly, April was tough for us. I mean, we played a tough stretch of tournaments. The competition was elevated to a national level type perspective, and we played in challenging conditions, and all of that was to prepare us for the MAC championship. We had tough conditions at Chatham. Competition was stiff, but our guys were ready to go, and they proved it.
That's been the slogan of yours and the team, is prove it. How did you see the team do that within the small parts of the game in those 3 rounds?
Yeah, they just had discipline, right? We had a game plan. We kind of knew how the golf course was going to play, obviously having a little bit of familiarity with the place, and with the wind and the course conditions. We knew that the opening 4-hole stretch was important. We knew the last 4-hole stretch was going to be vital. And in that middle grouping of holes, that's where you kind of made your hay and went and made some birdies. And, it kind of held true to form for us. I mean, we kind of got off to a slow start in the first day when teams were making some birdies early on, but we stayed patient. We had the best back 9, I think, on day 1, and day 2 we kind of stepped it up a little bit, and day 3, we handled the emotions and the pressure of it, and we were steady and held true to form, and finished the deal.
And for you to be able to talk about your athletes, and I know how special it is for you to be able to see Cash and Ollie being named to the all-tournament team. When you look at those two specifically, how did they help guide this team to that championship?
They've been through the battles. Those two were on the roster their freshman year, I think a few years ago when we were up at White Eagle, and we had the inexperience, and we kind of fought that whole process. And for those guys to mature and gain the experience and provide the leadership and create the steadiness is just awesome to see their growth. And I couldn't be more proud of those two guys for really kind of embracing what the program's all about and moving it forward while they're here.
You mentioned the growth. How have you seen both of them grow this year throughout the season?
Yeah, I think it's just the experience, right? Being in situations. Those guys have been in some tough situations over the years. We created some opportunities with our schedule to where, we had some events where we were expected to win or be one of the top teams. And we also had some events where we knew we had to fight our tail off just to, kind of maybe even finish in the middle of the pack. So, I think the experience just kind of helps those guys having been through so many situations. And again, playing golf in the Midwest and Indiana in the conditions, we had brutal wind at Chatham Hills, but we had brutal wind the entire month of April. And so these guys were ready to play in any conditions.
You talk about the experience and players being able to be settled in. Round 3 comes around, last day of the championships. We were talking about it before we jumped on the podcast, Coach. You, in your seat, don't have any control. You're sitting here watching these guys. But when you talk about the discipline, how did you see that really shine through for this group to be able to put this away?
I think we just maintained our identity, Like we got down to Westfield and we didn't do anything different. It's interesting. I'm not like a big team meeting guy or a night before, get with the guys and go through a bunch of stuff. These guys know what they need to do. They know what the expectations are. It's a matter of going out and executing. executing, and we just kind of stuck to who we are and what we do, and we were pretty loose in the hotel room at night and watching the Pacers play Milwaukee, and in that overtime game, and just had a good time with it. And then when you wake up in the morning and you're ready to go, you just you crank the energy back up and you get ready to go out and do it again.
I think that's one of the more important things, and things that sometimes get lost within the discussion, is staying true to who you are, your identity. And I love hearing that you stayed, and the team stayed with that, like watching the Pacers play, not trying to think too much about things before the day before. How vital do you think it is to have that type of a mindset with a group of guys that can epitomize that every day?
Yeah, I think it's important. Golf is mental already, and it's one of those sports where you could just be tooling along and you hit one bad shot that kind of goes wayward, and you're, all of a sudden thoughts start racing. Hey, what'd I do wrong there? Or how'd I hit that shot? Or am I going to do it again? So it's just, it's just a matter of being patient and hitting the reset button and not letting emotions play into, execution. And again, when you get some experienced guys that have been through a little bit of the ups and downs, it's a lot easier to work with them and manage those things as they happen in real time.
You touched on it briefly at the very beginning, Coach. What does this MAC championship mean for this program?
I just think about all of the good teams over the years that this program's had. Ball State Golf has a high reputation, not only here in the state of Indiana, but around the country. And, we've had some damn good players and we've had some damn good teams over the years. And for us to break through and get this one is just a testament to everything that everybody over the years has put into Ball State Golf. We've got great young men. We continue to kind of crank out good young men out in the community. We've got great support from our alumni, and donors, and it's just a good, healthy culture and environment of growth and support. And that I just think about Earl, everything, the foundation that he built. And, I'm just a caretaker that's just kind of continuing to do the things that he put out there in front of us for all of us. And, it's pretty cool.
And to be able to walk into the EY Center this morning with that trophy in hand had to be a very special feeling for you.
Yeah, it was cool. We strapped it in the van yesterday and kind of made sure that it was tucked in safely in its seat for the trip home. And then I just took it over there this morning. And Cam and I have kind of dubbed one of the tables in our conference room as the winners table, to put trophies for the teams that are winning. And I'm looking forward to making a little bit of space for that big one and putting it on that table.
Well, you better make some more space, because you were named MAC Coach of the Year. First off, congratulations, Coach, on picking up your second Coach of the Year honors in the MAC. I know you don't like talking about yourself, but I'm going to put you on the spot. What does that mean to you to be able to have that for a second time?
I think it validates that we're doing things right? Like the guys buy in, they understand the culture, they accept the expectations, and it sounds cliche-ish, but coaches don't win the awards, the players win the awards, and those are the guys that buy in and go through the process and end up producing the results. And I'm just lucky that these guys proved it this week and stepped up and earned it.
You talk about the process. We had a conversation back in February about where your team was at and how you wanted to see the growth to get to the MAC championships. You said, hey, we're playing to get ready for late April. And what kind of growth did you see from the team to make ready for that championship run?
I saw maturity. We won that match play event, right? And we didn't get too high. The guys expected to perform down there. We followed it up at Dorado Beach and finished second out of 17 teams. And again, there was it almost felt like, hey, we did what we were supposed to do, right? And then we came back and had a little bit of a gap, went down to Auburn, faced some extremely difficult conditions, both weather-wise and golf course championship setup-wise. Kind of punched us in the face a little bit with the scoring because we weren't used to seeing those high in numbers even all through the fall and through Dorado. But we came back and held true to form. And, we knew we were going down to Vanderbilt and it was going to be a national championship type feel. And, we kind of, we finished at the bottom of the pack there. But again, we came back from that one and there was no panic. There was no, hey, let's just keep working. We know we got the horses. We know who we are. And, to their credit, we worked we worked and prepared for the MAC championship. And those guys, again, they produced.
Selection show Wednesday afternoon. A chance to hear Ball State's name after winning this MAC championship. What is that day going to be like for you in this program?
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, it's a culmination of everything that we've done. And I remember back in 2013 when we got together. Before we had the EY, we were at Applebee's, and Tyson Matthews and Joe Hernandez. We were all just hanging around with some parents, and we saw our name pop up on the board, and we were going to Palouse, Washington, and it's just validation, right? It just feels great, and the guys earned it, and we're looking forward to the selection show, and we've got a choice that we've got a preference of where we would like to go, but honestly, we're just excited to go wherever our name pops up and they say we're going.
So when you have a chance to know that your name is going to come onto screen and be able to talk with the guys and figure things out once your name is called, what is the process then like after your name is called? How do you want to get ready for NCAA regionals?
Yeah, so we go back into preparation mode. It's my job to kind of get some information about the golf course and start a scouting report and kind of, crunch the numbers. And, the guys start kind of working, we're hoping that we go to Purdue. If we go to Campen, we're super familiar with the golf course. Our guys have played a lot of junior events there. We've already kind of have a comparable golf course that's picked out here in Indiana that maybe we'll go play a couple days before to kind of get reacclimated. But, if that changes, then we go back into that mindset of getting ready for wherever we go and kind of doing our homework and the preparation for the golf course, starts that moment.
Coach, before we let you go, I just want to give you the floor. Anything you want to say to fans, community members, alumni, the floor is yours.
I'm going to say this first and foremost, just everybody at Chatham Hills. Like, I've been around 26 championships and the folks at Chatham and the Hamilton County Sport Authority. And, it was one of the best championships that we've been a part of. Like, we felt the love the minute that we entered the property, and the membership was embracing, and our fan turnout down there at Westfield was incredible. And I definitely know that had an impact in how we played this week, just having everybody, fans, family members, friends, Ball State community people, it made a difference. And I just want to say thanks to everybody that, supported us along the way.
Appreciate you, Coach. Enjoy this championship, and we cannot wait to hear that Ball State name called on Wednesday.
Thanks, Mick. Look forward to talking to you again.
Sometimes it's not the moment. It's the moment before the moment. The moment you make a choice. The moment you take control. The moment only you can own. Gainbridge lets you invest on your terms. So you're not only in charge of this moment, but all the moments to come. Start investing now at Gainbridge.io.
Hey, Ball State fans, welcome back into episode 34 of This Week in Ball State Sports, and we are going to continue that men's golf conversation because of the 2024 Mid-American Conference Championships. You just heard from Coach Fleck. Awesome conversation with Coach. We talked with Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell about the golf team as well, and now we have men's golfer Kahn joining us here on the podcast. Really appreciate you doing this, and first and foremost, congratulations on the MAC Championship.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on.
So, also congratulations on making the all-tournament team. This was a great accomplishment for you and for the team. What was that last round like when the vision became possible that, hey, this thing is going to happen for Ball State men's golf?
What's crazy is over the last couple of weeks, Coach has told us to, put away our phones and just not look at the leaderboard and just play our game and play one shot at a time. And that's been our motto kind of the last few weeks coming into MAC. And coming down the stretch, I made a couple big birdies and keeping the momentum up with a couple of guys. I felt like we were on a good stretch, and even if we made a stumble, which I did coming down the stretch, that we had it in hand. So just really proud of the team and just everything we did coming up to this moment.
How do you think those first two rounds helped set up the final day of the tournament?
To be throwing out a +1 the first 2 days is quite impressive. I think we were all feeding off each other. We're all really comfortable, especially at Chatham, being close to home, and especially the support we had just helped us with the momentum overall.
You mentioned that support when you're coming around the 18 and everybody's waiting in Cardinal and White. What was that moment like to see that around 18?
Stressful, but also relaxing that people have your back and people are supporting you the whole way. And we had Coach Saley and talking to us before MAC, and he was telling us that we have a lot of people watching and to never doubt your abilities. So just having that support was really strong the whole week.
That's a really good point that you bring up, having different coaching staffs come in and have conversations with you all. How unique is it at Ball State to be able to have different coaches be able to speak about that kind of stuff?
It just brings a new perspective each time. Last year we had Coach Lewis, and this year we had Coach Saley, and it brings a new perspective into golf, especially people who love it as well, and obviously they don't know the same level as we do, but they are in college athletics, so they understand the MAC championship and the height of it. So it was great to hear from everybody.
You're walking off the final green. What's running through your mind?
Just stumbling down 17, 18, but to have a nice 9-10 footer drop for me on the last hole and hearing the cheers was just a sigh of relief and like a weight was lifted off, but it felt great.
What do you think that this championship means for Ball State men's golf?
It just means that we're moving in the right direction in the future with the teams and the players that coach recruits. We just know that we're trending in the right direction and that we could even win a MAC championship next year going back to back. So just trending in the right direction for the first time in 30 years, 30 plus years that we won a MAC, and to have it back here in Muncie just is amazing.
Everybody always talks about working and playing with the certain group that you have, and it's a special group across the board with this men's golf team. To be able to celebrate with these guys that you've worked so hard with for so long, what did that mean?
It meant the world. Like I grew up playing with a couple of these guys. I want to shout out Jensen. He came in as a grad transfer. We both knew each other back since we were like 12, and for us to be on the same team and to experience this together just shows like how the golf world like brings people together, and to have the group of guys that I grew up playing with, and then being able to build the chemistry and the camaraderie and then perform in a consistent each week, it just shows how good we are, and it's great.
That's a special bond, right, that you can carry from 12 years old to now.
Yeah, it's great, like especially seeing these guys like compete each week in the summers and even in high school golf just shows that we're all capable of doing great things.
I want to go back all the way to the beginning of the year to now. I know it feels like forever ago, especially when you're so focused on the task at hand. But looking back a little bit, where have you seen this team grow the most to be able to put them in a position to go win that title? I'd say we grew the most not worrying about the final result and just taking it day by day. I think we were really caught up early on because we were young. We're a young group last couple of years, so we were always worried about the result and where we wanted to finish, and I think that got to us. But being able to take it one right at a time was where we grew the most. Where did that mind shift come from?
I think it's just experience. Last year at MAC and other tournaments, we were in a good position, and I feel like we were, like I mentioned earlier, how coach was like, you need to stop looking at your phone. We were all focused on the result and not worried about the present. So, yeah. You mentioned Coach. How cool is it to see him be honored as Mid-American Conference Coach of the Year? It just shows his hard work and dedication to the team. It just shows how much he loves the team and how active he is and a part of creating the schedules and how he builds us up for these moments. So it's amazing to see the accomplishments he has. We're sitting at the EY Center right now recording this podcast episode. We'll be back right here tomorrow for the selection show. I know it's hard to try and predict or anything like that, but what do you see that moment being like for you and your teammates to be able to watch Ball State come across the screen? It's going to be surreal. I'm still at a loss of words for like this whole experience, like always seeing other teams do it, especially like gymnastics or like baseball, and watching it and seeing them go through it, it's not the same feeling as doing it yourself. So being able to sit at the EY and then see our names come across will be unreal.
For you personally, how have you seen yourself grow the most?
I'd say I am a lot more calm and collected on the golf course now. I feel like I'm able to overcome a bad hole or like a bad shot pretty easily, and I'm able to just brush it off and make my next shot my best one. And I've been trying to work on that a lot this year, especially my mental game as well. I don't show it, but it's all internal, and trying to bring positive words and tell myself that I can go get it on the next hole is probably where I've grown the most.
Just taking a little bit more of a personal look at you in your journey, how did Ball State come into the picture? Why did you pick to be a Ball State Cardinal?
I picked to be a Ball State Cardinal because honestly it was two things, was academics as well as golf. Coach Fleck was there the whole time during my recruitment process. He was one of the only coaches that was there from day one, and he was dedicated to like seeing me grow as a athlete as well as a person. So seeing that in a coach was what made me come here, as well as the academics at Ball State. So the main two things of why I came here, especially also the facilities and our scheduling, two important aspects in golf.
I love the fact that you brought up all those things, and especially the schedule part of it, because that seemingly can go underrated in golf, right? Going against teams, because it's not like a typical sport, one-on-one basketball. It's so different. But you mentioned the competition, you mentioned the scheduling, and going to play in places that are unique. How much did that help prepare you and the team this year for the championship run?
I think Illinois and Vandy were two huge aspects of why we played so well coming into MAC. Vandy was a disappointing result, but we grew a lot. We understood where we needed to improve, and then the weather conditions at Illinois was just what helped us here. Similar conditions, really windy, long golf course, so we were able to just have that prep coming into Chatham.
For you, why'd you choose golf?
My whole family plays golf. My dad played golf. He learned golf from Tiger, first time watching, and then all my brothers played it. So then I was just born into it, and so it's been in our family for a while.
I was gonna say that makes a lot of sense. That fits the bill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we grew up on the golf course day and night, so it's a special place for us.
Would have been weird if you didn't pick golf.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been odd for sure. But yeah, it's been a huge part of our whole family and how we bonded as well.
When you look at where the team is at today, and then the steps we'll go through NCAA regionals and then beyond there too, what does this next step look like for the team?
It will be a new learning curve, but I think that we're confident in our game, and we know that we can compete against these big teams, especially these Power Fives. And talking back to our schedule, we've played them multiple times in the year, and we see them almost every week. And to be able to go against them in a regional will be a different pressure, but we know that we can perform because we've done it in the past.
Holly, is there anything you want Ball State fans to know about you, about men's golf, about the championship selection show, whatever comes to mind? Is there anything you want to let the fans know?
That I just want to thank you guys for the support, and just keep supporting us because we feel it, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.
We appreciate you. Congratulations again on being a MAC champion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to This Week in Ball State Sports, presented by Gamebridge. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Gamebridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network.